Hey Bones, what's the latest you're hearing on this Joker clown Gavin Newsome?
Newsome, Newsome. Uh, so, yeah, well, so since the pressure's been put on, Trump wants to send the guard in there to help clean up crime on the streets in some of the cities like San Diego, Los Angeles, and that. Newsom's been resistant. So
Right?
now I hear that it's been reported that he's brought chips in there, California Highway Patrol, to help with law enforcement on the streets in these cities. I don't know if that's going to be enough or not, but it's I call it a feeble effort to,
Right.
to comply. Not nothing against the Highway Patrol. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
Nothing against the Highway Patrol. This all lies on Newsom,
Well,
Nuisance Newsom.
this actually it sounds to me like he's in our last video we had hit that he's trying to mimic Trump in social media and trying to mimic Trump's strategies. Sounds to me like now he's trying to mimic I'm going to clean up California. Uh, I don't know is it's a legitimate, sincere effort or is it just a political move?
Well, it's to try to save face because he's getting a lot of backlash. I think it's try to save face on his side of things. Uh, from my point of view, it's not working at all for him. You know,
Well, right. He's the
um,
one that allowed all these cities to burn and has
right.
fought any kind of federal assistance or fought any kind of law enforcement. He's been one of the defund the police type guys. Uh, and now he turns around because he's facing all the backlash for that. And he's seeing all the positive information that's coming out of DC.
Yeah, the people of DC, for the most part, are excited and elated about the reduction in crime. 80 some percent reduction in carjackings. I can't recall the number of the murder. I don't think they've had a
They
murder rate.
haven't had one since the National Guard came in.
So imagine that, right? So let's clean it up. Let's make it safer. Let's be positive about it. The people would probably be on board. Quit spreading your venom and do the right thing.
Well, right. Even the mayor of D.C., who I believe is Democratic, came on thanking and praising Trump for for
Exactly.
us getting the National Guard in there to assist. So now Newsom's seeing all this positive stuff come out, so now he's going to make his move there. However, I think it may be a little too late for him to try to save face because with this push and all his mudslinging, things are starting to come about. One of the Republican representatives in California has proposed a split of the state, taking the 35 inland counties and splitting off from the state of California. Apparently, this is going to be voted on in their Congress. If it makes it through Congress and gets to the House, of course, it would still have to be okayed by the federal government. Uh, it's not the first time that California's attempted to do it. The last successful attempt of splitting a state was West Virginia splitting off from Virginia, and that was right after the Civil War. But it's not completely unheard of, and it is possible. It's more than likely just a gesture to show the frustration because he's trying to redistrict California now that Texas has done it.
Yeah, I see a lot of changes happening, and I see a lot of the left that are trying to work and figure out how to work with the program, which is good, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
what United States is about.
Right.
Whether we have different political parties, whatever, but working together as a whole, a united effort. Um, so I hope that can happen in California. I really do.
Right. Yeah. I hope they can actually get it together. But as far as Newsom, I think it's too little, too late. The other thing that came up is while he was mayor of San Francisco, he had slept with and had an affair with his aide and best friend's wife.
Yeah.
He came on and did a public apology for it after all the mudslinging at President Trump for being a sexual deviant or whatever you want to call it. Now it comes out that he wasn't so squeaky clean himself.
Yeah, you got to be careful when you you start slinging mud on somebody because if you're perfectly clean, if your front porch is perfectly swept off and your back porch, go
Mhm.
right ahead. But
Well,
there's
it's
always some.
like they say, people that live in glass houses should not be throwing stones. Um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and the follow up on this with his apology, reporters have done some digging, and apparently, the excuse from him and the woman he had the affair with has actually come on with some public statements now about it. She was asked about it and talked about how she was a married woman, 33 years old, making her own decision. He wasn't a predator. She had been drinking heavily, and that she learned a lot from this experience, and just got wound up getting divorced and went through rehab and has now been sober for 11 years. Gavin Newsom, on the other hand, was supposed to have gone into rehab, and it was reported that he had gone into a rehab for his drinking because that was his excuse. But it's been determined that he never actually went into a rehab. So, what, if anything,
You know,
did he learn from this?
not because. Uh, so the woman probably did it right. If she's got herself cleaned up and publicly talking about it. But from my experience, alcohol, drugs, or whatever has never been an excuse for committing crimes. You know,
Right, or even adultery.
right? Uh, Adultery is a crime of in the commandments.
Yeah,
It's
crime of
it's written.
morality.
Yeah. So it's not an excuse. There's really no excuse for that. There's no excuse for abuse of another person. There is just no excuse. I self-indulged in alcohol and drugs, and I wound up incarcerated on many different occasions.
Mm-hmm.
And I would sit and say, well, if the cops hadn't been there, well, what if I hadn't done what I did?
Right,
That's what the realization you have to come to. Let's just get real about it.
right, and that
So,
apparently that's what she's doing. Newsom, on the
right,
other hand, basically just did a public apology for having slipped up. He was
right.
asked if there had been any other indiscretions, and he said
Yeah.
absolutely not.
We can quote Bill Clinton. I did not have sex with that woman.
Right, right. I did not have sexual relations with that woman. Uh, you've
Uh,
got all these politicians having these indiscretions, and they keep slinging them at President Trump, and of course the
right.
left, talking about he's a pedophile, he's this, he's that. Um, Again,
We
glass
have
houses, man, glass houses.
Yeah, you have the actual evidence, and then they still want to be, uh, on Newsom or whatever, have actual evidence, and then they still want to try to push it over onto President Trump.
Right.
But
So,
anyway, I'm still at the thorn in my side as California is concerned. Get rid of the thorn, get rid of Newsom, and make things go forward in a positive manner.
well, and that's where I'm at with this. I'm really tired of hearing about Newsom. Um, you know, in reality, I kind of do hope that he's the guy that goes for the Democratic slot for president, likely against J.D. Vance in the next election. I think we'd have an even bigger landslide victory. Speaking of J.D. Vance likely being the Republican candidate that's going to run, I saw where President Trump is now throwing it in the ring that he may run as the vice presidential candidate for Vance.
Yeah, I saw that too. Wouldn't that throw him for a loop?
Yes,
You
it
know,
would.
Uh,
So, anyway,
there's all
folks,
kinds of stuff that can happen.
yeah, on this Gavin Newsome guy, man, my opinion still hasn't changed. He can wash his hands. He's still dirty in my book. The track record speaks for itself. The guy has let cities be decimated in California. He hasn't been a leader, and now he wants to turn around and try to say that he's changed his tune and gonna try to run for the presidency. I'm still, let's just get rid of this guy. So that's where Padre Havoc is at with it. What says Bones, man?
Oh, Bones is there too. Get rid of the thorn in the side. Get rid of Newsom, and California people can move on in a positive manner, clean their state up, be beautiful as always.
Well, there you have it. There's our follow up. I'm sure we'll have more on this story as well. But for now, have a great day, folks. And
Stay positive, everybody.